Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name's Dean. Let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is June 21st, 2022, and Bitcoin, as well as the rest of the cryptocurrency market, looks poised to break out. I believe that we will, in the very near term, very short term, experience a crypto market breakout. But what does this mean for Bitcoin insofar as targets to the upside that we can expect? What does it mean for the rest of the cryptocurrency market? If you want my take on that, then watch until the very end. I'm going to tell you where I think Bitcoin will go, where I think it will stop, and where I think most other assets will go. All right, I'm on the 4-hourly time frame, and as you can see here, for the past few days, right, ever since the 18th, June 18th, where we put in a low 3 days ago, we've been slowly but surely matriculating up and out of these ranges right here, basically the sub 20K range, okay? And if you look and zoom in on how, because it's always important to look at price action, right? When we're charting, not necessarily price, but price action. How is price falling? How is price consolidating? How is price sort of ascending or sort of making its way up, right? So I want to look at how. So I'm going to zoom in even more on the hourly time frame. I'm going to analyze with you this progression, all right? And so here we clearly have what we would call in Elliott wave theory an A-B sort of wave setup, okay? This could be also a 1-2 in a leading diagonal, okay? But again, you just made a fresh low. So what do you expect after that? You don't just go straight into impulse. No, we all understand from studying these charts, from reading these charts day in and day out, from making a fresh low and changing the trend, you need first to put in a reversal pattern, okay? And this is insufficient for such a large change in trend. If let's say, if we zoom completely out and we consider ourselves in minor wave 2 correction, right? Going into minor wave 3 correction, basically an uptrend that may last many months, this is insufficient, right? As a reversal pattern. So most alts, most other assets in the cryptocurrency space, when they made their fresh lows on May 12th, put in 20 to 30, sometimes 30 to 40 days of a reversal pattern before making their impulse or going into their impulse. So we can expect Bitcoin to do the same because it's an asset like any other asset, despite its being the most important asset in all of crypto. So that's how I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this as an initial break of structure. So this is basically an A wave, and we all know A waves tend to target wave 4 of the previous trend. So I did this yesterday, and just really quickly, I'm just going to reiterate the important part of this analysis is essentially what you want to do, what I think should be done, what makes sense for me at least, is to count 5 waves in the most recent impulse, and I believe that this was an impulse down. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are my 5 waves. Okay, and obviously this is in a cycle wave. I was during the live stream yesterday doing some pretty high time frame stuff. So let's just go into primary. So I think that this is the overall target right here, okay? This region right here, okay? Now, a little pattern analysis tells us that if we zoom in, this clearly looks like some sort of pattern, consolidation, dip, consolidation, right? So you could say that it's an inverse head and shoulders pattern with a neckline about here, okay? So my target for this, and I said this briefly yesterday during yesterday's update, is essentially 23, 24, maybe 25, okay? So a bit of a wick above this wave 4 correction, just making that higher high, establishing, the change in trend. So I'm looking at Bitcoin to target around 25K, okay? Because, if we keep going up, you may want to say, oh, this is the wave 4 correction, but I don't think so, because I counted this entire downtrend that we've been in for months as an ending diagonal, okay? And I'm not going to get into that, but for me, this is my primary wave 4 of this downtrend right here, okay? And this is my A, B, C. So this is basically my B wave for my last wave. So this is my primary wave 4 for this downtrend, and this is the 1, 2, 3 waves down to complete this downtrend. So I don't think this is the target for the A wave for the initial breakout structure to change the trend. I think it's up here. It's down here rather. Okay, so I think 25K thereabouts. And if we just go on the momentum indicators, I'm looking at the stochastic RSI, it's already topped out. Okay, there's not that much real estate to the upside, as you can see on the 4-hourly time frame. And the hourly time frame is almost topped out as well. So that read, that analysis is it is in accordance with what we're seeing in the stochastic RSI on the smaller time frames. Okay, now, although Bitcoin may not have that much positive price action in this pump, okay, I would say that altcoins have much more, okay, most altcoins, because most altcoins did not just begin a reversal pattern on a large time frame. As I said yesterday in yesterday's update, most altcoins have been in some sort of consolidation reversal pattern for 20 to 30 to 40 days, okay? So let's just go down the watch list. And actually, let's start with Litecoin. Litecoin I touched on yesterday, okay? Actually, really quickly, let me just make sure my targets are correct. Let me get off log. Sometimes the logarithmic scale skews the low time frame targets. So let me just make sure that I'm getting what I want here. Yeah, 25-ish. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's just start with Litecoin. I mentioned Litecoin. I mentioned yesterday during the live stream that I did enter a small position in Litecoin. Okay, and as you can see here on the small time frames, unlike Bitcoin, the target of this pattern, right? This maybe a W pattern, a W reversal pattern, is a lot higher, relatively higher, right, than what you see in Bitcoin, right? Let's see. It's something like this. Let's say the neckline is here. Okay. We're just at the neckline. And the target down here, or the height rather. Say the target is over here, around 65. Okay. Now, what's interesting about Litecoin and a lot of other assets, although the short time frame sort of pattern analysis shows a modest uptrend, or a modest sort of increase, maybe 20%, right? If you zoom out just a bit on the higher time frames, you can see that these assets have been putting in a larger reversal pattern. A larger reversal pattern since they made their lows on May 12th. And if you look throughout the market, throughout most of the altcoin market, you'll see the low for most assets was made on May 12th. And ever since then, we've been putting in a reversal pattern. And so to the day, they've been putting in their reversal patterns. And that's been 40 days of reversal consolidation. Okay. And again, let me just hide this for a second. Actually, let me hide this for a second. Just so everybody's clear on what the reversal pattern is, it is a collection of reversal sequences, right? We know that in Elliott wave theory, there are three types of reversal or three types of corrective patterns. There's a flat, there's zigzags, and there's triangles, okay? And so I'm seeing you can get a collection of 4, okay? So basically an initial break of structure that we're getting in Bitcoin right now, targeting wave 4 of the previous trend. This is what I think you got here. Let me just do this by hand. It's going to take forever. Okay, so something like this, a 3-wave move targeting wave 4 of the previous trend. Okay, and then a big B wave. Okay, so I think that this is what you got here. An A, a B, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so you have big A, you have big B, and then you have a pivot. So that's a small initial break of structure. That's your third corrective pattern. And then another break of structure that's counter to that first one, small b, I call it. Only then do you go into impulse. So even though, I say that to mean this, even though the pattern analysis shows a modest increase for Litecoin and other altcoins, it's not bound. It doesn't need to come back down and consolidate or do anything. If our analysis is correct, it can just consolidate once it hits some resistance and keep going, consolidate, keep going. It's unbound. That is why this is theoretically a macro low, a great buying opportunity. The other thing I will say is that if you look at our momentum indicators, unlike Bitcoin, you see there's a lot more real estate to the upside, all right? Even on the from the small time frame, right? Because you see the small time frames on Bitcoin are pretty oversold. Conversely, in Litecoin, on the hourly and the 4 hourly, you can see we have some space to the upside. We haven't been in oversold territory like Bitcoin has, right? So this is what I'm seeing in the market. So this just really quickly go down in our watch list to reiterate that point. So I hope everybody understands what I'm seeing, and I've talked about this before, but just, to drive the point home, for 40 days now, we've been doing this reversal pattern, initial break of structure, a big B, and then your consolidation, small a, small b. Only then do you go into impulse to reverse the larger trend, okay? Toto, same thing. You can see it's getting ready to break out. A big A, a big B, okay, an A wave, something like that, a B wave, a small a, small b, and then consolidation, the pivot. Yeah, that is the pivot rather, and then that is your impulse, okay? Reserve rights is same thing except in a different flavor. Here you got some sort of zigzag instead of a flat correction, okay? But, nearing sort of on the cusp or at the neckline of a larger breakout. Telcoin, almost same thing, right? You have your pivot here for the breakout, okay? So this is why I'm expecting a crypto market breakout. We look like we're on the cusp. We're at the neckline of this pivot, okay? So the move is imminent. Ravane already broke out, consolidating, retested the resistance and made it support, and now looking to break back out, okay? And we already talked about Litecoin. So that's why I'm expecting a breakout in the cryptocurrency space, although I am not expecting too much more from Bitcoin, given the fact that it has yet to put in its reversal pattern. And if we have a quick look at Bitcoin dominance, right? Because some people may think, well, I understand crypto. I've been in this space long enough, and I know if Bitcoin moves, the market moves. If Bitcoin doesn't move, the market doesn't move. And that's partly true, but there is something called alt season and a decoupling, a brief decoupling of Bitcoin from other assets where Bitcoin isn't as dominant and other things move independently. And it's not that they're moving independently per se, it's that there's a trend, okay? And the trend right now is reversal consolidation, and various assets are in various stages of that trend, if that makes any sense. So think of one thing going on. It's just certain things are at different stages of development of that trend. Some altcoins like Ravane are more advanced, and Bitcoin is lagging. It's lagging and it's way behind, and that is alt season. Basically, alt season is when Bitcoin is late to the party, but it's still coming, or still going to the party rather. So in your Bitcoin dominance, you can see all of this. I see that we've put in some sort of complex correction here in this wave 4 correction or wave 2 correction. Why do I have it a wave 2 correction? Yeah, call it a wave 2 correction, I guess. A W. This is clearly an X wave. I think this is a Y wave. I think this is an X2 that you're making right here, right? You may go up a little bit and then down more for X2. So basically all I say is that expect Bitcoin dominance to go down, especially after we put in a Z wave, pivot, and then really go down for major alt season. So this is reflected in the Bitcoin dominance chart. Bitcoin dominance pretty much has a strong resistance at 48%. So expect it to go down from where we're at in the aggregate. All right, that's all from me. There will be no live stream today. I did my live stream yesterday. It's on the channel. I talked about Ethereum and Litecoin, and I looked at the long-term charts for Ethereum and Litecoin and why I'm bullish on them. Although Ethereum's chart is a bit confusing, gun to my head, I would expect for it to continue to the upside in sort of during this pump, right, out of this bear market. All right, so that's it for me. Hope this was helpful. Hope this was useful. Like, share, and subscribe, and have a beautiful Tuesday. See you guys.